this understanding didn't come all packaged right away. Yeah. Now let's call the understanding of view, and then there's vision, which is awareness of seeing. The awareness of seeing is all there completely at every moment, but an understanding concerning somewhat of that vision was built in a sense, yeah, over time, and especially in a way. I remember when I got introduced to the Course, they had Course in Miracles. They had a very interesting statement. They said the best way to learn is to teach. Where's Nick? Did we lose Nick? Is there a fire or a black?
Yeah. The lights are on. Everything must be fine. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick.
No, friend, he's somewhere around here. Yeah. So it would say the best way to learn is to teach. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing. So. And then, but most people believe to teach they need to be qualified. Or in some circles, let's say in recovery, they say you have to have it to give it away. Now that hasn't been my experience. My experience was if you would sit in a position, you'd be used, yeah? And it was proven over like 16 years doing a 4-step workshop in San Francisco. Yeah, I had no need of any knowledge. The knowledge would come through. Yeah, just if you put yourself in the position, it would happen. So I'm a real believer in you have it by giving it away. You don't have to have it first to give it away. You have it by giving it away. Yeah. So the understanding or the view got built up, and you'd see different antechambers, and it would open up in different ways and get like, what you thought was just one block of an understanding, it would break into and you'd see more little nuances, yes? And then you would also see the understanding being applied or not applied to living here, yeah? So you would see how the action figure would attempt to adapt, which is difficult for it because it already has plenty of understanding. But I would say most of them are assumptions that are, they reinforce a blindness that's there to begin with, yeah? So it's not about renewing or re-upping or reconfiguring the old understanding. It's a radical understanding, really, not to. It is. Yeah. Because the assumption in everyone most of the time in the day that's living is living under that observation of, they're not even aware of it, of being subject-object all day. So sometimes they're the thinking, they're the, one who's doing the thinking, and then suddenly the system turns around and they're the thought about. So they play these two roles of subject-object, yes? So like in a way, the subject decides to go on a retreat with the hopes that it's going to become more spiritually fit, let's say. But then the object is at the retreat and fucking can't take it because the object's left cheek is really sore, sitting for 13 hours. So suddenly the dominant interpretation point is the object. Now the subject thought, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to just fucking transcend and go fucking have phenomenal, unbelievable spiritual experiences. Sounds good. And also food, nice place to stay. You know what I mean? But then the object is what tends to have the experience, and the object like fucking just looking for a cushion, really, Like, can I steal that guy's cushion and put it over here? So the subject-objectness is basically blatantly obvious all day, but most of us are out to lunch, really. And then we want to start and try and entertain very, very cryptic concepts, but we don't get the basic format, yeah? And the format is going to override whatever it brings you in contact with, yeah? It's going to override it. Like they say, the observation distorts the observed. That's like, all right, let's say there's 20 horses and 20 carts. That's one of the ones that's the horses in front of the cart, yeah? The observation distorts the observed. So that's why you're having a subjective experience, yeah? Because you override where you're at, yeah? So you go to a meeting and everyone has a different experience of the same meaning. So if you looked at it a little deeper, that would maybe imply or insinuate or trigger curiosity to dreaming in a way, because it's sure a damn good example of dreaming is, you're dreaming. You're giving meaning to things could be seen as dreaming. You're dreaming that that's real, and it isn't, let's say, yeah? So, it would be, and then you get back to even farther, the subject-objectness, the dualism that's this, and then that's what, when what's dreaming goes through this subject-objectness, it sees everything in a dualistic manner. Well, I mean, why wouldn't it, yeah? If you looked at, let's say, evolution there was a book once that they saw evolution, man says they're like the crown of creation, yeah, of course. But let's say if you looked at it from a fucking jellyfish's point of view, they could think everything ended when the jellyfish appeared. And they're the crown of creation, yeah, you know what I mean? To have a basic understanding can go a long way here. It can leaven the heaviness that goes with being the doer, the thinker, the feeler, the haver, yeah. It can leaven that at least, yeah. It can bring a lightning influence, not like a lightning bolt, a lightning, lightening the situation up, an influence. So instead of being what's distorting the observed in a deeper, heavier way, you'll be distorting the observed in a lighter way. There's going to be a distorting of the observed, but it's an upgrade, yeah? And then there's also, when there's a traveling lighter, the action figure responds to it. It's sort of like, wow. And then now, the lightness becomes the provoker of effects, yeah? So your idea or the pursuit of happiness changes because you're happy. I don't like the word happy. You're content already. So your pursuit is like pretty much chilled out, because in a sense you've run into the fact that you are what you're looking for. So the looking for all this shit for you stops in a way, or at least diminishes, and now you're content where you seem to be because you realize you're not that, in a sense, yeah? And truly the not that is the greatest lightning to that. Not all that accumulates or acquires or gets or does, but the not that is the greatest lightning effect to that which you're not. It is. I mean, I'm a guinea pig or a lab rat. I'm telling you, not a guinea pig. It wouldn't have lasted that long. But a lab rat. I've got a thing about guinea pigs. I can't believe they survive. It's just unbelievable. They must procreate like unbelievably fast. They seem to be easy pickings to other predators, I'd say. Jesus Christ. They can't see. They're plump and fat. They don't know. You could be on them and they have no awareness that you're on them. They don't even know when you're picking them up. You can just, so there's like no, get away. It's just like, so the understanding of not to. I'm not saying the vision doesn't translate into anything. It's just vision. It's just incessantly on. And that incessantly onness, when it rubs against what's on and off, on and off, and on and off, there's quite a difference to it after a while. Yeah. So now that which is on and off, yeah, and that which is always on, you see that you lean more to what's always on than the on and off. Yeah. So, and of course, there's got to be a seeing of thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. For a feeling to exact any kind of effect, there's got to be a consciousness of the feeling. Yeah. Now that seems to get hidden by just saying it's you, but that's lazy, isn't it? It's really pretty lazy. Yeah. If you just look a little farther back, you would see, how could it be you? Yeah. 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 That there's something is feeling, and then obviously there's a narration that arises, but after the feeling, that says, from the position of being the feeler, I didn't want to feel that. but the feeling was noted already before the opinion. You didn't want to feel it arises. Why doesn't that interest you? I mean, that which comes after seems to be before in a weird way. So I'm an afterthought, which says it's the thinking. So it's really mind-boggling, and I find that a lot of us, embark on incredible mystical, conceptual, fucking multi-dimensional attempts to understand, but I would get right back to the format. Who is it that wants to understand? Or what is it that understands? And what the hell does it understand? Or does all of its understanding come from a previous understanding that I'm a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, a thing? I was hurt, therefore I will be hurt, and on and on. And I seem to be experiencing something called time, yeah? And time's allowing events to occur, and some of those events I rather wish they didn't occur, and some of them that go really fleeting, I'd like to lengthen them. So I'm always in a condition of being seemingly powerless, aren't you really? There's all, these empowerment seminars, fuck, give me a break. All the way we see is an empowering seeing, yeah? So when someone says to you simply, you outshine circumstances and situations, not you as that which comes after, but you as that which is before. That which is before outshines circumstances and situations, you know what I mean? So, and it doesn't matter what circumstance, situation. Is it a circumstance or a situation, you outshine it. There's no exemptions. Oh, well, these are the exemptions that outshine me. No, it's a statement. You and I outshine circumstances and conditions. Do we live like that? No, we don't, do we? I don't feel like we do. Because if you did, like the Course in Miracles, one of the lessons says, your attack thoughts, and sometimes you could hold some of those thoughts as attacks. I'd say actually most of them are, in a way. Your attack thoughts are attacking your invulnerability. So if they were, would you be worried about the attack thoughts? If you were understanding or actually sensing the invulnerability, the attackness of the thoughts is really based on your fragility, your seeming fragility, or your seeming vulnerability, or your seeming able to be attacked, really. So if you took that flaw, would the thoughts be seen as attacks all day? No, you'd lose interest in them, first of all. You'd see from a very close up, they have no teeth. They're just like, you're invulnerable. What the hell? You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, here they come. I'm invulnerable. I'm doing, oh, yeah! No, it's like you're invulnerable. It doesn't say you're invulnerable until they get 5 feet. No, you're invulnerable. Yeah? This isn't like something you're going to become. You're not going to become invulnerable, especially if you are invulnerable. See, this is the dilemma. We want to become these attributes that we really are, but we want to become them as what we're not, yeah? As what we're not, what we are is really attractive to what we're not, but it wants to have it its way. So it wants to be the center of the universe, but as this, yeah? It wants to be all that I think about, but as this. Instead of, in a weird way, it's mimicking what it knows on a certain level, yeah? So, this is just seeing what you're not. I don't understand, I do understand it now. Because I was looking, I thought really hard, and I thought I was somewhat sophisticated. Everyone had told me I had a spiritual leaning since I was young. Aquarius. All this stuff. And yet, while I was in, hot pursuit, I never heard this idea that maybe you're not that which is looking for the truth, And if you're not, what I found out, you're looking for the truth may change dramatically. Because you may find not being that, that's looking for the truth, that you are the truth, really. And so obviously it would make no sense for the truth to look for the truth, and even it's more complicated that's how the truth is hidden to the truth, in a sense. The only way the truth can be hidden to the truth is if the truth is busy looking for it. That's how it hides itself, yeah. So these are all corrections because minds, as people, have observed these activities. They've observed the yearning to know the truth and how that gets fucking misdirected. They learned a lot of stuff by just observation. You can. And so then some of them attempt to pass it on to us to save us time, really, and not to have to do the same thing they did. And even in recovery, we have it very clearly, you know. Self can't get out of self. It's like they're trying to tell us an observation they came to by trying to get out of self for a long freaking time. In a collective manner, they finally realize, hey, we can't get out of self as self. So, yeah, so let's, close the book on that. And so maybe, if you see you're not self, if you see prior to the feeling of being in it, you see it and you realize you're already out of it. So wanting to get out of self is really the biggest form of being in self. So you're out of self. That works. Yeah. So you're not in self that wants to get out. Yeah. You're not out. You're out of it inherently. In other words, there's been a negation, at least with a freaking basic understanding, a negation of your singularity or of your being the doer in all this. There's just been a damn negation of that. Yeah. So now you bypass that little, it's like one of those obstacles. You bought the fucking extreme video, game. All right, we're on the river. These are ways of getting around basic obstacles that everyone loses the game. But when it goes for 40 years. And you don't hear it, you just keep trying to get out of self as self. And you're with a lot of other selves trying to get out of self, and then maybe you're thinking you're a little ahead of them. I'm closer to getting out of self than they are, and there's a huge, get out of self. But there's no, so in the race of selfing, yeah, you can look like you're winning or losing, but the fact is you're still in the whole ship's, So this understanding, so to hear it, and I don't think this is unique. It was seen as it felt like an unspoken yes. When I finally sort of when it showed more of itself, it was like a feeling of knowing before knowledge. Yeah, like this is inherently this is way before all the spiritual archives. This is just the rawness of being. All right. And then so suddenly I heard that, and it was like an unspoken yes, and it's just reverberated ever since. And it's really freaking consistent. It's like a heartbeat that never jumps, just on. And then it just winnowed down stuff for me, yeah. So I saw the production of selfing, yeah. I saw it, and I can see it now. The production of selfing, and then how selfing cannot produce a self. It just implies one, yeah? And when it implies one, you're almost like a self-produced self, yeah? Because it says you already are that. It doesn't say, oh, you're Paul. It says, no, you have been Paul forever, really. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a trick. It's not like you're not Paul, not Paul, not Paul, and then it tries to fool you. You're Paul. No, it arises and implies you've been Paul for all this time. And it implies you're going to be Paul for all the rest of the time. Yeah. And so the only way in that condition to try to get out of Paul is as Paul. And that's how the system contains us, yeah? The system itself, and it loves us trying to get out of it. It does. I mean, it will, yeah. And I've had, really, on a couple of the vehicles of trying to get out of self, like tried and true methodologies, like drug addiction, yeah? These are ways of trying to get out of self, yeah? Now, I can't, with, let's say, devotion, I wasn't not that into it much, or understanding, yeah, I can understand, but it's sort of empty. Meditating, yeah, I can sit and meditate and stuff like that. But I would say there's a lot of holes in my resumes, but drug addiction, fucking the gold standard, really. Really. The gold standard. I did everything that I could possibly do, to the point of trying to kill myself with the hopes that I would end before I ended, really. That's how far it drove me. I felt if I shot enough coke, that there would be a point when I was going out that I would stop and I'd still be there and I'd have that sense of fucking freedom. Yeah, well, didn't work. Doesn't work. And in hindsight, I came to the conclusion through observation that you can transcend an imaginary place. And a place that's produced and reinforced by dreaming is imaginary, yeah? So the only reality there is in the imaginary place is us, yeah? But us the dreaming has taken itself to be the dreamt, seemingly. It's appearing to the dreaming that it's the dreamt. It doesn't matter if it's appearing to anything else being dreamed, yeah? It's appearing to the dreaming. So the dreaming has taken itself to be the dreamt, which sets off the video game. And then the desire to get out of the video game is part of the video game, really, yeah? And a lot of people that have played the video game much better than us have tried to, whisper through the fucking, oh, it's about me, yeah? Hey, you can't get it, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, yeah? Psst. What? I thought I was the avatar Paul. No, you're the Buddha. Yeah? Now, Paul could probably acquire attributes of the Buddha if it practiced what he or she thought the Buddha practiced. Yeah? Maybe you would acquire some of the Buddhist nature that you think he expressed. That would be cool. And maybe it would take you longer if you had a bent towards it, or shorter if you were just, grace or whatever. But you are the Buddha. This is the little speed bump that ruins all the journeys. Actually, it's an indication to pull off, really. It's not like, oh, we got to drive over these. No, it's an indication. Cut the journey, because it's just going to be speed bumps. Yeah, because you are the speed bump. There was a great cartoon once I really loved, and it says, there's James lying on the street. It says, James had such low self-esteem, he took a job as a speed bump. In a way, that's the dilemma. We keep running into us. We want to get out of us, but we keep running into us. Yeah. When we come out of a peak experience, we're fucking there. It's like, I thought I got rid of you. I took so much ayahuasca, I fucking should be free of you. And then what? It's like, how the hell? Because, see, you're it, That's the dilemma. So maybe you want to talk to the Buddha, not to Billy or Nick or Paul, because I'm tired of talking to you. If you're the one that's hearing it, I'm tired of doing it. I'm almost feeling like I'm doing you a disservice. If you're so hell-bent on being Paul, then fucking find some skillful means, because non-duality ain't going to work for you. It really isn't. Non-duality is a different beast in this situation. It really doesn't, like if you try to milk it, it's not not giving any up fucking milk. Yeah, if you try to get behind it and push it, it'll kick you like a fucking horse, in a way. When you use it as excuse or like getting out of shit, oh, there's no me. So, hey, why didn't you show up at the job? Oh, there's no me to go to the job. No, that doesn't work, yeah? So non-duality is a fact. That's all it is. It's a negation. That's all it's saying. It's just saying there's not two. Yeah? There's not two. So the whole premise that we're all built on, that's reinforced by the narrative in the head, that premise of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity that can be a subject and can be an object isn't true. That's all. It's not like it could really, if it works hard, it can prove not to be true. No, it isn't true. There isn't like any condition that's going to make it one thing or the other. It ain't true. Yeah. So what happens? You've tried enough. You see things that haven't worked. The appropriate response is to stop if you possibly can, Sit and get reconfigured, really. Just let something, just adjust the the viewfinder, whatever. And over time, if it has proven to be the greatest, most influential thing that never happened here, because the greatest thing that happened here was me getting struck sober, but the greatest, by far, most influential thing that's never happened here, this is it, yeah? It has allowed, without any effort or effect, really, yeah? Or it's provoked a lot of change in, maybe not like in my hair color or shit like that, but in the subtlety of living, yeah? So, the dispensing of a lot of color into what I saw. Let's say if the self-centeredness is so strong, let's call it yellow. So everything you see is yellowized, you know what I mean? That tint, those tints were removed, yeah? And I started seeing blue is blue, and red is red, and green is green. And I realized so many realizations cascaded through me. They realized, why the hell would I waste a second trying to get into the moment? I can't be out of a moment. And you know what? When that dawned on me, it's never been brought up for review. I've never had a different opinion of it from the innermost. No, never. It was like, that's clear, move on. That whole little fucking misdirected assumption that you got to get into the moment, that's done. It didn't need to be barricaded or fucking put a lock on it. It was over. You just saw it. Hey, I've never been out of any freaking moment, ever. No matter what this is said, I haven't been out of anything. So why would I want to get in it? Yeah, that's been the fundamental creed of the understanding. Yeah, not finding a real sophisticated way to get out, but just realizing I'm not in what I think I'm in. So then for the drives and all the strategies to get out, and you know what? The best you can hope for is maybe a little time than the last time you tried to get out. Yeah? Wasn't that the drag with a shot of cocaine? It only lasted 3 minutes or 5 minutes. You were hoping to extend it fucking longer. Yeah? But all those... So now the skillful means get applied to the right fucking thing. The thing. The action figure. Yeah? And then that which I am doesn't need any skillful means. Yeah? To be what it is. It is it. And it's always available at all times, right where the thing is, with no requirement for the thing to be it. Yeah? Because you've already come to the conclusion, at least on an understanding manner, you're not the thing. So, all right, if you not the thing, and the only place you can fall into is everywhere as being what you are, which is what happens when the singular special little point of reference is seen as not you. There's a quick finding out, yeah, that you are that which you've been looking for. Yeah? but you never found it, and you realize the looking for it has a total different agenda than you think it has. The looking for it is the blindness to it, because you're using what's seeing to look for itself. Yeah. How could it not be blind to it? And then you can break it down. We attempt to do it as clearly as we can. You can have a cake, and there's additives. Yeah, the additive to this whole place is my in the English language. You can see the additive is my. So there's a problem, let's say. Then it's held as my problem. There's an additive to the problem. That's sort of like if you gave an additive to one of those pigs, they become like a super pig. So the problem now becomes one of many problems you've had. So the biggest problem is the one who has the problem, obviously, yes? I mean, how can you not see that? How many problems do you need to see that you've been involved with every one of them? So it's sort of like if you and your partner, policeman, are looking for a serial killer, and you finally are on the trail, and you think you found where he lives, and you go in there, and you open the closet, and it looks like your clothes. You're the fucking serial killer. You know what I mean? Fucking let it hit it. All right, so. Like we used to always use, I had 12 relationships, let's say, with women. Let's say none of them really worked the way I thought it would look like it worked. But the one constant was me. How as difficult as that? So why would you want to go through, let's look at the anatomy of a problem. Fuck that. Just see the one who has the problem as the bigger problem. If the one who has the problem is seen through, the problems, yes, they'll come and go. Much more, they will come, but they will go. Yeah? Yeah, they will go. And you'll travel lighter through them. And if you travel lighter through all this shit, it should dawn on you, you're onto something. And maybe this being onto this something doesn't lead to you looking for more somethings. See, that's what's sort of weird with this. It may put an end to you looking for something. Yeah? Which you never thought, you have never run into anything that ever did that. Not one shot of cocaine put an end to shooting coke. The police did. Lack of money. But, yes? But this will put an end for looking for the next something. It's so beautiful. Yeah? That's a fundamental aspect of this place. The drive in time looking. Yeah? So now they have old style stuff like Buddhism, and they gotta slap another word on it. Extreme radical Buddhism. You know what I mean? It's like a workout. Extreme radical Buddhism. Let's get there faster. Yeah? This is always, you can sense it, right? There's always, all right, there's gotta be the next something. Not in non-duality. It just, to me, I really feel it has the ability easily to put the stop to that. And what an incredible thing to get off that moving sidewalk. Really, it's unbelievable. You are now, like it says in recovery, you're available to enjoy peace of mind. You're available to understand the word serenity and know peace. You're available to really listen to silence, even among a lot of sounds, yeah? You're just fucking available. And you never get gypped ever again. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you will, but not to this point, yeah? So you're just here, not because you did anything, because if you feel really, if you're convinced you did something to be here, you can be easily convinced you can do something not to be here. You cannot. This idea of believing you've acquired or achieved this only leads to the experience of losing it, yeah? Because watch, the shit you get, you usually lose, yes? So this cuts all that out. You're just here, yeah? And the joys can be in the little things. You know, you don't peel away after 5 seconds of the bird song. You listen to the whole fucking incredible sonata that it's trying to entice another bird with. I mean, today I heard one that was going on for like 11, 12 minutes. You're not like, oh, thanks, I've heard that before. No. You're just like, wow. Not anything. You don't even make a note of it. Just came up right now. But you know what I mean? You're available. Oh, you see the wind moving and the colors. You're like, yeah. It's just like, I'm too busy moving. Are you really? Yeah. So, and you can seem to be busy while also being in that state. It doesn't mean you gotta chill out, you know, even though, you know, that's what's happened to this. I've learned, I just, you know, it's just what I'm leaning towards. I just like, the stop is the greatest movement here, really. Just to stay stopped is really cool to me. It really is. The head has always got some movement, yes? It's always. It can never fucking rest. It's unbelievable. People are taking massive doses of sleeping pills and shit like that to try to slow it up. It's just constantly got its little fucking marching shoes on, marching boots. Incredible. It can't enjoy peace of mind. Anything that is structured in time can't enjoy much. Because you're thinking it's not going to be there to enjoy later. Yeah, how's that enjoying? Yes, you know what I mean? When you put time into anything, there can be no peace for something that's entertaining time. Because peace will be available, but you're afraid it won't be available tomorrow. Yeah? The peace, reacting to the peace from what you're not will get agitated around peace. Just like what you're not reacts to enlightenment and drives itself crazy that it's not enlightened, or someone else is, which is even worse for it, you know. Or the word awakening has caused a lot of discomfort for people as what they're not. Yeah, it would have been better as what they're not, they ever heard of it. It really would. You don't need many examples, just look like that. Enlightenment, the definition, one of them is cessation of all suffering. People that are searching for enlightenment are using, their heads are producing suffering out of it. You don't see that? I mean, are you on the same road? I mean, stop sign. Stop, you know. Pull over. Any one of these can stop what you're not. Any one of these statements, and these statements, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, have survived seeming 1,200 or 800 years. Yeah? Where tons of shit that was written that seemed to be really important is gone. These little nuggets have length. They have power in them. Yeah? Because while we're dreaming time, these fucking are jewels in the dreaming of time. They're jewels. They're not 800 pages, weigh 30 pounds. They're little nuggets of, hey, the seeker is the sought. What's looking now is what you're looking for. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Why? Do I have to explain it? You're the Buddha. It wouldn't be appropriate for that person to say it to anyone other than the Buddha, would it? Why would I tell Bill, hey Bill, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha? Oh, was I doing? No. Only to the Buddha does it make sense, yeah? I'm not saying to this, oh, Charlie, whatever, you can't use yourself to find yourself. Charlie, you can't less. You know, that's a complete dog because it has no other options. We believe that we could be and do and be other places, do other things, and it overrides the sensation of being and doing what we're doing and being now. It's amazing, you know. So a lot of people have more of a yearning to be like a dog, which is incredible because they sniff asses and do a lot of shit. They roll in mud. But a lot of people would rather be a dog than the opportunity that's afforded to them now. That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, I like dogs, but I don't, you know what I mean?
I'd rather be a cat.
Really?
In this case.
Yeah, I'm a cat person anyway. So, yeah. So if you're not done, then don't, just know that non-duality will always be there. If you're there, it's there. Yeah? And there's no rush. There's not like the non-duality express and the non-duality local. There's just, and then maybe you'll exhaust yourself. I don't know how it will seem, but, you'll know when it sort of registers in you because there'll be a traveling later, really against your own will. Yeah. And, you know what I mean? Some of the propulsion will be, you'll be trying to push the gas pedal, will be, something will be overriding your driving. Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool, man. It's cool to be able to be loved and to love and to have. There's a lot of beauty in time. I mean, I wouldn't want a world where all the flowers are open at all times, right? It's beautiful. We got, again, orchids. We have a nice orchid. And it looks like a cypress, it's blown in a certain way. And it's just beautiful to watch it do its little dance, opening up. Yes, it's gorgeous. Time is incredible. In time, you can grow in fondness for things. Fondness is a nice sensation, I feel, yeah? In time, it has to be procured by time, yeah? You become familiar in such a nice way. You're fond of it. There's a lot of nice qualities in the dreaming. Yeah, but the dreaming really, really is responding to that which is dreaming. If it's dreaming as the dreamt, it responds a certain way, yeah? So that which would be beautiful can become very, very, very just over-fucking-whelming, yes? Things that you would rather not amplify get amplified. Yeah. And now you look at people, this place is insane. You know how many people are taking pills? It's incredible to me. There's got to be we have to look at the system or the basis. It's not working to keep trying to improve or fucking keep this thing going. It just seems like it's on a suicide run, really. We're getting stranger and stranger. I've watched people talk. I saw this one lady seemed to be like talking to her boss. Beautiful, perfect clothing. But I was watching underneath the table. She was like this, fucking legs like this. Just totally wigged out. I don't feel people, we can cut this off, but I want to say something about stress. Stress is unbelievable on people. It is. Yeah. It's unbelievable on people, and you don't know it unless you get a real, a wham-bam relief from it, which I've had in this life, where your whole facial structure is an adult type of facial structure. It's all held from all this stress. And when it drops and you're like a child again, it's mind-boggling. It's like the best facelift anyone could ever have. And I had witnesses, so it was pretty cool, because I couldn't see it. But I was just, all of the present seeming influences were dismissed. And man, then you can see how much sway they have when you've been freed from them for a little while. Yeah? That's the best understanding, is the absence of something. If it's been sort of present for a while and then it's absent, that's the greatest understanding. It's sort of like if you had a hand on your shoulder when you were born and it's never not been there, you would have probably a lot of stories like why one sleeve needs to be long and then the other, and fucking tons of why. But then if something one day it lifted, you would know exactly what it was. It was a fucking 5-pound hand or whatever. You know what I mean? You would know exactly by its absence. This is what it's like. When all these things are seen through, even all at once or by, dropping. So it's like a reverse engineering. You see Oh, that's why it was seemingly the way it was. Yeah. Everything else is just conjecture from the condition. But when there's relief from the condition, you know the condition. Yeah. So, all right, no questions, right? No? All right, I want to repeat for my vast internet audience. We're having a meeting November 26th, Falkirk Cultural Center in San Rafael, 7 o'clock, and it's on the website, so, because, yeah, people have been complaining about the website's inability to conduct certain communication, so we're going to do it through the YouTubes.
What time?
7 o'clock.
So no meeting here next week?
There is a meeting here next week.
Okay.
Yes, there is a meeting here next week. We're not going anywhere for a while, I hope. All right, that's that. We're going to go eat, right? Some of us? Good.
And Saturday.
Now let's pass the basket. And Saturday, yes. Saturday at our house.
Oh.
Right? Is it up yet? All right, so Saturday's meeting's going to be at our house.
Oh,
The address is on the website. Yeah. And then we're going to have a little, we'll have coffee, and then we're going to have a ping pong football tournament too. Yes, yeah. So.
yeah.